copyright strike.
Yeah.
Satanism. To most, it conjures images of medieval black masses or sinister deeds done for the devil. Must expose all the evil being done in the name of Satan.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Charlatan's Web. I am covering Todd standing today, so I decided to bring on my Bigfoot buddy, Captive Desk, Dave, who was also who runs the Captive Desk YouTube channel, and also the Grassman Chronicles. Say hello to everybody, Dave.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Bree. Always
Absolutely.
Fun to hang out with you.
So what kind of stuff do you do on your channel?
Well, I host Saturday Night at the Atheists, where we have some fun looking at some really bad, usually apologetic videos. You never know what video I'm going to make. Something I come across, and it just hits me, I'll make a video about it. And then the Grassman Chronicles is mostly cryptids, aliens, ghosts, all the otherworldly things.
Yeah.
And Bree is always very helpful, because if I have a question, Bree always says, "Oh yeah, I have heard of that. I know where that is."
Yeah, I've been doing this
helps
for a
me
long time. It's what I've been doing for the longest of any of my career paths that I've taken, which has been a great many. I don't have so many interests, but when it comes to
that's how I started following you. That's how I started following you. You were over on Mike's channel, and something came up about cryptids, and my ears perked right up, and I've been a loyal fan ever since.
Well, I used to do counter apologetics. I don't do so much anymore. This is kind of my outlet for counter apologetics now, though, because I get to go after the old apologists, the young Earth creation nonsense and stuff like that. Like if you looked at the poll for this show specifically, you'll see that Kit Hovind was on there. So I mean, I've got Dinosaur Adventureland lined up as one of the, with Doc Dino is being one of the charlatans that I want to set my sights on. And we've done in the past few weeks, we did the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, with their grift, in my opinion, grift. on people dealing with mental illness specifically, which was the problem that I covered, which was the werewolf of South End London, the real werewolf of London, if you will. Then we covered, I had Nancy on last week. Did you watch that, Dave? We spent time with Dr. Stephen Greer and talked about contacting UFOs and contacting aliens. Did you know there's 69 species of aliens that are identified?
At least.
Yeah, so it's always aliens, always aliens. Hello, good to see everybody out there. People should start rolling in, I hope. Last week we actually had a pretty good turnout, but we had Nancy here, and she's a lot better to look at than anything we got on the screen right now.
Yeah, sorry, folks. I'm not as pretty.
I'm always. I got to gas Nancy up. She's beautiful. Both her and Patty are beautiful gals, and thank you so much.
I met
for
Nancy.
having me on. Yeah, I saw the pictures.
I met her at the protest. Yeah.
Right. That sounds like it was an awesome time at the protest. You met Nancy. You met Chris Mallard.
And everybody was so nice and everything. Yeah, it was. For the misery of being so hot and everything, because it was brutally hot. Meeting everybody was certainly the highlight of the whole thing. That was really neat.
And you met Godless Engineer
and Mrs. Engineer, Casey
was there, yeah.
Chris Mallard was there.
Granny.
Godless Granny. Purple and Porpoise showed up. Jay Bundy was there. I got to meet Jay Bundy. I've been talking to them for years. I mean, I think Jay and I go way back to Bread's channel when I first started doing stuff on YouTube. So, I got to meet Jay in person. So that was neat. And Seth came there, who used to work there. I interviewed him on my channel before. He worked at the Ark. He showed up at the protest, and I got to meet him in person after, again, talking to him for on and off over the years. You get to meet these people. And of course, Joe, Robin was there as Pebbles with a bone on her head.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of that.
Yeah. And so I'm sure I'm missing people. The Skeptic was there. Elliot was there. Seth was there. Chris was there. The other Chris. So yeah, Carissa was there. Ambushed Apostate. And it was that was just great. I mean, lots of hugs. It was like we've known each other as like old friends or whatever. So it was kind of like a, almost like a reunion or something. It was really neat.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got to experience that. There's conventions and stuff that I'd like to go to as well. Ones that I'd really like to go to are I'd like to go to a Bigfoot convention. Honestly. It'd be amazing.
I did see Bigfoot. On the way, I did stop to see a Bigfoot. There's a big wooden Bigfoot that was on the way, a little jaunt off of the highway. So I stopped on the way and I saw Nelson, who's a big, I think it's like 27-foot wooden Bigfoot. So, I got to see a Bigfoot on the way.
Yeah. That's awesome. If I get over to Northern California, which is looking like more and more like a possibility every day, I'm going to go to some Bigfoot conventions while I'm out there. Because why not? Why not go and just enjoy myself? Go there and have fun. It just seems like a good time. I wanted to go to the Roswell days, which was took place about 2 weeks ago in Roswell, New Mexico, which is not far from where I am right now. I'm in West Texas, so it's like right there, just north of here, honestly. And I missed it, but it was looks like it was a really good time. Just going to those types of festivals. But if you go to a Bigfoot festival, there's a good chance you'll run into someone like David Paulides or Todd Standing, which is the subject of today's show. And speaking of David Paulides, hey, Sumami, I see you out there in the chat. You want to come on and do one of these about David Paulides with me? I know you like true crime, and he's all over that with his nonsense. Let me know if that'd be something you'd be interested in. No pressure, of course. Okay, so this gets weird here for a second because the way I'm sharing this will actually pop up a menu on their screen that the live chat can see, but I'm going to just go deal with it and do it because I can't figure out a way around it at the moment. But we're going to we're going to look at Todd Standing's profile here, because he doesn't actually, like everybody else I've covered so far, even David Ferret and Sean Manchester and their wizard duel about the Highgate vampire, even they each have their own their own Wikipedia profile where you can get a general idea who they are. Todd Standing does not. Like, Todd Standing is, I don't want to say he's low rent, but like he's not exactly making waves. The biggest thing he's doing is interacting with Survivor Man, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let me just give you
with
Les Stroud. So let me give you a quick rundown here of Todd Standing. There's not much here, even on his cryptid wiki article. And when I get done with this, you're going to be even so. Let's see. Todd Standing Bigfoot footage, or Todd Standing Big Footage, is a series of videos of strange creatures claimed to be Sasquatches taken by controversial Bigfoot researcher and suspected hoaxer Todd Standing. Despite his footage being considered dubious by many due to the human face ratio shown in it, the inconsistency of the creatures, and one video showing an alleged Sasquatch almost tripping up while it's running up a steep hill. Most cryptid enthusiasts are happy that Todd has helped witness file a lawsuit against the government for not recognizing Sasquatch as a species. But the most controversial of his footage are Blinky Bigfoot and Muppet Bigfoot, shown in his documentary Discovering Bigfoot, which we're gonna bounce through a little bit today, which that's the video we're gonna kind of go through, because I did find it on here. We're gonna have to be very careful though. I won't be able to go for more than a few seconds, so we're gonna trudge through this a little bit slow, but we're not gonna get through the whole thing. It's a 2-hour documentary. We're gonna get through maybe the first 10 minutes of it, which is really just a breakdown of the what they're trying to sell you in the documentary, and then we're gonna bounce around to the alleged footage that they've captured and things like that. This thing came out in 2017, so it's been out for a while. I didn't pull it from Todd Standing's channel, but anyway. But yeah, these are the images that he's most famous for. And I have a pet theory that I want to bring forward at the end of this segment. This my personal pet theory about to do with Todd Standing. So if you want to hear that, you got to stick around, because I will get to that at the end. It's going to be the last little slice of this we cover. We are gonna pop through a little bit of Survivor Me and stuff too. Just we're gonna crack down on some of this. So when it comes to people covering cryptozoology, there's different categories of people, and Todd Standing is, I don't know, where would you put him? I
was just talking about that. The Todd Standings. If there's any good video or any good Bigfoot hunters actually trying to do anything, and it goes for anybody, a ghost hunter, anything else, there's so many of these ridiculous frauds that I think they give it all a bad name, and it's like boy crying wolf, right?
Right.
You've got
whole complex look bad.
Yeah, you're overwhelmed with all these, silly videos and everything. And if there was anything decent out there, it'd probably slip right through the cracks,
And that's the thing. I consider myself a cryptozoologist, right? I say it all the time. I'm a cryptozoologist. Sometimes I'll say I'm the world's leading cryptozoologist. But I like the serious pursuit of cryptozoology. Okay, I like to try to look at these sightings and these encounters and try to see if we can figure out what happened through a scientific lens. Kind of break away from the folklore and the magic of it and say, okay, so what could this be? And I have fun along the way, sure, but the bottom line is I'm trying to I'm trying to explore these ideas and bring them to the public. But people like Todd Standing, who are out here hoaxing and making up their own folklore for it, it poisons the whole batch of trying to understand what's going on.
Because like you said, even if it is, a known species, it could be something with, a deformity or a disease or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I would rather somebody that, properly investigated, especially if it could be something that could, affect the species on a whole or something, like with the thing, bothering the rabbits that brought about the jackalopes and everything. Yeah. These things should be, taken care of and controlled or whatever. And, again, with guys like this, it just gets laughed off, and, there could be something going on out there we wouldn't know about because, again, bottom of the barrels like this with, just want a name for himself. And when he's already out there, he could do, legitimate investigations. Instead, he does his little Apple trick and everything. And it just makes a mockery out of any investigations, really.
Right. So, I mean, this is his channel. Just looking through, just kind of seeing he still puts out videos. His most recent videos from 12 days ago, and he's got some different people that he has on regularly with him, like this woman right here, and it's basically he hasn't come out with anything especially new. He's discovered AI, as you can see right here. That is definitely an AI image. I'm almost completely sure on that. But anyway, when it comes to... I think I'm going to switch to Talk Studio after this. Maybe get everything readjusted, because this is annoying having to close it and then open a new one every time I want to switch screens when I can just... Yeah. Anyway, here we go. We're going to do this. All right, so... And Todd Standing in his ghillie suit, which seems inspired, right?
Which is what a lot of the Bigfoot photos look like, are people in ghillie suits.
Yeah, and we're gonna tread very lightly here. Aren't all aliens cryptids? You would, yeah, because they'd be unknown animals, right? I'm trying to avoid the music. I'm trying to avoid the music too, because I don't know if they're licensed or what. But yeah, these things are fun. Have you ever been in one of these? We call them gators. You can go in.
Never been in one. No, but it looks like fun.
Yeah, you can go over land and sea in them. Yeah, they're like a little boat too. They're loud as hell though, going over the water, and they throw water everywhere, but they work. They do go over water.
We are a growing group of independent researchers working towards definitive proof and protection of the species commonly referred to as Bigfoot. In 2005, our initial group consisted of a cooperation of 4 people: a biologist from Great Falls, Montana, a Cree Nations elder representing the First Nations people, the skeptic Todd Standing, and a paramedic.
The skeptic Todd Standing. He's the skeptic of the group.
That's from Calgary, Alberta.
No.
After Todd went public with our...
So this is where he got his big breakout. Was, well, I don't call it a big break, but he did this thing where he petitioned the Canadian government to protect Bigfoot as a endangered species, to keep people from, I guess, shooting them. I don't know. If anything, in my opinion, if Bigfoot does exist in the general description that most reports, not Todd's reports, his Bigfoots are a special breed, but if Bigfoot existed, I think that it would be a hominid. It'd be probably in our genus. I would speculate it'd be in our genus. It'd be a Homo, like Homo sasquatchus or something like that, or Sasquatchi. I don't know, but we'd probably end up putting it in the genus Homo, just speculating on its appearance and more alleged morphology, right? So that means that it would be a person, and then it wouldn't need species protection. It would need people protection. It needs like First Nation protection, which I think would be more applicable anyway. What's your thoughts on that, Dave?
I'm just thinking that we've got enough orange deer shot every year. We don't need anybody out there actively trying to hunt a Bigfoot and shooting at people like Todd that are out there in their ghillie suits. So
right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with telling people don't go hunting them or setting traps or something like that. That could all be inviting the worst out into the woods.
I think
but yeah, he does like to get his name in print and stuff too.
I think that biologist from Montana is Jeff Meldrum too, I believe. Right?
I don't know that name. I might know the face.
I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Meldrum, who is like another kind of sussy Bigfoot guy.
With our work, enthusiasts, scientists, and wilderness experts from around the globe began to collaborate with the Sylvanic team. Now we collaborate with scientists from as far away as China and half a dozen forestry and wildlife officers in Canada and the United States.
I like the scientist dude just shaking the beaker in his golf hat, as you do in the lab.
Our tremendous success has come about from our enormous collaboration of minds, experiences, knowledge, and wisdom from all walks of life. Primatology meets First Nation.
Now, is this doesn't look anything like a Bigfoot track that I've ever seen. This looks like a gorilla track. That looks like a gorilla hand.
Yeah, the other digit's sticking way over there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Bigfoot traps usually don't tracks. They might have the big toe might be a little bit more opposed than a human toe, but it's not opposable. It's not like Anyway.
Nations experience. Anthropology combined with the greatest still hunting techniques on the planet.
There he is. If you love seeing Todd standing run around in the woods in his ghillie suit, you will love discovering Bigfoot as a channel. 80% of the channel is Todd running around in the woods in his ghillie suit, splashing through puddles, ducking and rolling, just being all kinds of, hey, look how athletic I am at 60 kind of deal.
He does it in the snow, too. He's all buried in the snow, and he comes up out. Oh, look how sneaky I am.
Yeah. Like, we see you, Todd. We see you. But you gotta pretend you're like, oh, you're doing such a good job hiding, Todd. You're such a good hider.
Experiences have been passed down through tens of thousands of years of First Nations oral history and tradition, with decades of scientific study. Our ultimate goal is to ethically introduce civilization to the most man-like primate on the planet.
That ain't it.
Yeah, that is Todd standing in FX. But we'll get to that because I have a whole thing on that. We're just going to follow this intro just for a little bit here. We just got to be careful how long, again, we let it play for.
For the past 10 years, I've been conducting expeditions, documenting chronicles, and interviewing people pertaining to the subject of Sasquatch.
Yeah, I think that's Jeff Meldrum right there.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah, he's special.
Is it?
I don't know what he's hard to figure out. Supposedly he's a scientist, and then
or is that John? Is that John Bindernagel or whatever his name was?
He's the one that works in the lab, so to speak.
John Bindernagel, yeah. He's
the one shaking the beaker.
With over 20 years worth of hardcore backcountry expedition experience.
There you go. There's more of Todd. He's got I'm climbing this wall. Like, we're here to see Bigfoot. We're not here to watch your you audition for the Iron Man challenge, whatever the hell you're doing, Todd.
Experience into the most remote regions. I've tracked and studied various.
And that's the thing. Oh, driving his ATVs around in the wilderness. That's a big thing too. He's like, yeah, you gotta watch me I drive around. This is cool. It like when they do stuff like this, like, oh, here's some bear tracks, or here's some elk tracks. That's awesome. Give me more of that. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's like you're saying. He's got all this equipment. He's out there all the time, and then he's spending most of the time setting up shots of himself climbing up a mountain or something. And yeah, he could be doing all kind of good wildlife photography, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
That's
goodness. Me and Ember need to coordinate better. I didn't know anybody was using this time slot. That's why I picked it.
I think Ember's kind of been going nightly lately.
Yeah.
She's kind of trying to go full time and make some, you know.
Yeah.
Make some time and make some duckies and all that. So.
But we need to coordinate better because I'm trying to hustle over here too. So I get it. Hustle's real.
There's only so many out.
I lost my day job a couple weeks ago, so I'm kind of I'm hurting right now. So any kind of love you can throw my way, but
a lot of us will watch multiple streams, you know, to help everybody out. So
yeah, and also
I've had 2-3 running, and other people say they do it all the time too. So we try to spread the love.
You don't have to help me out for free though. You can get one of these awesome T-shirts for helping me out.
That's right. Just like this one. It says,
yeah.
CrypticCorner. Well, it's kind of.
Give me a second.
It's kind of green.
Yeah, I might wear my.
But it's CrypticCorner.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very soft. And Bree was just asking how the washing goes, and I said it's still black.
And he's had it.
I'm a little hazy here, but it's still nice and black.
It's getting washed out by the background, but yeah, it's or by the green screen. But the material's good though, and he's had it for a couple months now, so it's a good shirt. So if you want one,
I know if
the links are.
Show it better close to the camera.
It's gonna look washed out.
No, it still doesn't either way. No, but it's black. It hasn't faded, and the sticker hasn't peeled or cracked or anything like that.
Yeah. My Bigfoot sounds like bongos. Oh.
Various North American species that have had little to no exposure to civilization. I am a student of many disciplines, trained in the art of tracking by a Cree Nation's elder and a military sniper. My skill sets in.
Were you trained by Cree Nation elders? Because that's his thing. Like, I'm really good at like being in the woods. I grew up in the woods, right? I'm good at like I can track animals. I've I can identify plants and things like that pretty decently. At least back home. Here I have a little bit more trouble because I'm not used to this desert. But in the forest I'm pretty good. And he's gonna pretend like no one can know the forest as good as me because I was trained by Cree elders. If you grow up in the forest and you have somebody who knows what they're talking about, whether they're a Cree elder or not, I had multiple generations of people showing me what mushrooms to eat, what berries to pick, what tree to climb, how to find my directions, and what creeks I can drink safely from, and things like that. I grew up like that too, buddy. You know, anybody who grew up in a rural setting had that discipline.
He's just trying to add some mystique, you know, this old super wisdom some shaman or something has, you know, and
it's like
he has it now.
Savage, woo woo kind of stuff that, like, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with learning from a Cree medicine man. Did he say?
Yeah, some kind of elder.
Yeah.
That include camouflage techniques using the terrain and its features to mask ground movement, obstacle crossing, camping positions, effective observation, camouflage penetration, counter surveillance, survival evasion.
Yeah, he's just all about. He's like he's only pretending there's Bigfoots out there so he can do this shit for people and have people watch it.
Yeah,
yeah. His thing is having people come watch him do his survivalist stuff, right? That's his whole thing. And in order to get people to do that, because nobody's really interested in that, and if they are interested in that, they watch Les Stroud instead. And
that's why he kind of hooks up with Les, because Les is kind of the survivor thing, and he's kind of got a little Bigfoot interest, you know. So Todd's ears perked right up, you know, and said, "Oh, I got to talk to this guy." Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he popped out of the snow at Les and said, "Hey, Les, can I come on your show?"
Evasion and escape techniques. In 2006, my team and I publicly showed 2 separate crystal clear Bigfoot videos I personally filmed, which we used to petition the Canadian government for species protection of Bigfoot.
Yeah, we already talked about that where he petitioned the government. So hold on, I got a timestamp here I wrote down. It was 5:40. So because all this is, if you can see that it's just Todd running around in the woods in his different costumes. So you're not missing anything here.
Yeah, because he's only got, like they said, the couple of videos and the still shots from him. That's all he really has.
Yeah, so here's the 6 months after his altercation or whatever. Some knockoff Led Zeppelin sounding music, which I hope is not copyrighted. Look at that! You ever squat? You ever squat in the river in your ghillie suit?
Burr.
Yeah. And doesn't look like he's wearing hip waders or anything either. It looks like he's just wearing some camo coveralls, so that's got to be cold and wet.
He's not talking. Just kill the volume on it, Bree.
Yeah, I thought there was a overdub here. There it is.
There he is.
I filmed video 6 just this past winter, and
that's inspired, right? That's inspired to see him coming through with his ghillie suit like that. I mean, I'm sure that's where he's like, hey, you know, that kind of looks like a Bigfoot. I bet if I put a little effort into the look, I could really sell that as a Bigfoot creeping around in the woods.
so I'll sort of walk around, and the perspectives are going to be all off because there was about 2 feet of snow here. All these plants that are about 2.5.
It's minus 15, there's about 3 feet of snow, and I just had a confrontation with 3 different Sasquatch, one of the Sasquatch of which has taken off into an area that I'm following right now. I'm following this trackway, I'm dog tracking it as I call it. I'm about 15 yards away from it. You never follow the track of a wild animal, especially when it's this fresh. So the whole backstory about what's transpired, this is 4 days worth of work coming to a culmination right here and now. A whole bunch of things are about to happen. First of all, we're walking up on a Sasquatch. There's a trackway again that you can see I'm zooming in on. I've got a night light or an infrared light. It's about to walk up on a Sasquatch that you can see another Sasquatch make itself well known to me off to the right now.
What are you talking about? Did you see any Sasquatch?
No, and I've seen this before. I don't know what he's looking at.
Let me rewind it, and we'll watch again.
Sasquatch make itself well known to me off to the right now.
Is he talking about sounds, maybe?
It must be the sound.
Now that I know I have a Sasquatch that's protesting off to my right, I know I have to keep moving forward and following this trackway. At this point, I'm starting to make something out directly in front of me. Again, now I can hear a Sasquatch moving up on me to my right.
You better leave that Squatch alone. He's gonna rip your head off.
Just stepping in the snow. However, I'm focused on that directly in front of me. Clearly, a back and an arm are pointed back towards me, and this creature has no idea that I can.
Okay, so he says there's an arm and a back here, and it's this pixelation right through here. Right? He's saying that this is clearly an arm and a back. It doesn't explain why it extends all the way down to here, though. But that's what we're looking at.
And it's totally goofy because it's in night vision. So
right.
night vision's real selective about what it picks, and then it's pixelated on top of it.
Right.
I can see it right now. The reason I know it's there is I've seen the trackway, and that is standing out to me like a sore thumb. There's tracks. There's some very large, enormous object. So I'm going to proceed forward as I always do. So I'm getting a little nervous right now. I'm concerned about making sure I have my focus. This is a wild animal. I'm approaching hundreds of miles from the nearest.
Is it an animal or are they people? It could be a people, right?
I'm pretty sure this is the one that kind of vanishes as he comes around and gets a different, the night vision works on how the lights come in from the moon or whatever. And when he switches, it kind of disappears. And I think that this is the one that he's talking about where it see, there it goes or something. And it was just because when he moved, the direction of the light shifted, and then it messes up that whole, goofy night vision pixelated image all over again.
Aunt Jur, I'm not going to disagree. Aunt Jur says at least he's not just Sasquatch hunting, or at least he's just Sasquatch hunting with his military grade cosplay and not Proud Boying. Yeah, he could be out planning to overthrow our government with the Proud Boys, and yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem with people hanging out in the forest looking for Bigfoot.
I've done it.
As long as they're not, like I said, I worry about them, accidentally shooting something or something stupid. But
getting shot
if they're
by
behaving,
hunters.
vice versa, right?
Pay attention to the hunting season if you decide to go out into the woods Sasquatch hunting, because there's seasons where you have to be out there in a colored orange vest because you will get shot by deer hunters. Like what I'm wearing now would not be appropriate to go out hunting Sasquatch in.
And you don't want to wear a Sasquatch costume or a ghillie suit either, because you're just asking for it. Yeah. Something moved. Bang.
Bam.
Yeah.
Something big and shaggy walking over there. Bam.
The nearest human being, hundreds of miles from the nearest town, out in the middle of nowhere, all by myself. That's a Sasquatch. I'm trying to get my focus. My equipment has been out in -20 for 4 days. Cold.
He's always got some excuse. Like he's like, "Oh, I got this best footage of Bigfoot, and then I dropped my camera in the river."
Oh, that's the best one.
Yeah.
That's a classic. Yeah, the best footage he ever got, and he dropped the camera in the water. Of course she did.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Snow, and this is what happens. Don't blink.
Don't blink.
That's an 80-pound log that just took me out. From the third Sasquatch, I had no idea was there, that was off to my left. There were 3 of them.
So there's no reason to think that he wouldn't just have his boys out here doing shit to help Sal. We'll talk about it. We're going to get into that. We don't got much more of this we're actually going to watch here. I do want to jump ahead again to, let's see, what time stamp did I have? Okay, the 13 mark, because the 13 mark, we're going to meet hold on. Come on. Guess this will do.
There are millions of people that believe in the possibility of this species, hundreds of thousands that believe, but very few that know.
So there's the video with it running up the side of the cliff where it trips, which, is not something you really expect from a sure-footed Sasquatch. I don't know, though. That argument is not nearly as powerful to me, because I've seen, deer trip in the woods. I've seen a goat trip on a mountainside before, so I'm not going to be too harsh about it. You ever see a snow leopard hunt? They depend on animals tripping and falling. That's their whole strategy. They depend on the blue sheep to take the tumble, and they'll hang on to them even.
Oh, they are real. The circumstantial evidence is overwhelming, with tracks that display dermal ridges analyzed by the best.
That's Jeff Meldrum right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fingerprint experts in the world who conclude the track evidence is unhoaxable.
That's
an eyewitness
guy.
testimony.
Yeah,
from the
okay.
most
Yeah, that's the
credible
supposed
witnesses.
skeptic that has his whole office with cutouts of Bigfoots and everything. But he's the skeptic. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I'm not going to judge too harshly. I'm a skeptic, and I have I have alien earrings and things like alien earrings and stuff like that. So I'm not going to judge somebody for being into it. But it's weird to call yourself a skeptic if you're the one out there selling that it's real, right? Which Todd Standing absolutely is. He's not a skeptic. And this leaning on Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt wrote a story in his memoirs that was told to him by a grizzled old mountaineer, trapper, beaver trapper, about what sounds like a bear attack, with sort of fanciful characteristics added to it to make it more gruesome and make the bear seem more devious and whatnot. But people in the Bigfoot community have spun that narrative into a whole tale of a president who confirms that Bigfoot is real somehow. It's bizarre. Like, oh, it's confirmed by Teddy Roosevelt. Everybody trusts Teddy Roosevelt. It's like, yeah, that's not what he said, though.
I think almost everybody that spent time outdoors has some kind of a story. It just something they heard, something they maybe saw in the corner of their eye or something. It seems like you can always pull up from a lot of these folks that spent any time out in the woods that they came across something and then they attribute it to a Bigfoot or whatever cryptid they choose.
Right.
And it would happen, right? I mean, if you were writing a story and you were, the one night we were out in the woods and we heard this noise and we didn't know what it was, right? And you might write that down and then it leaves it wide open for people like Todd to say, aha, see?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
From doctors to lawyers to a president of the United States.
So that's a reconstruction of Gigantopithecus, I believe. Based on, this is what we actually have down here of the actual skeleton, and the rest of this is speculative. But the idea of Gigantopithecus being, or Bigfoot being Gigantopithecus is completely ridiculous in my book. Like, completely ridiculous. This is a tropical forest ape, right? It's not crossing the barren grounds of the Bering Land Bridge between the Yukon and northeastern Russia. It's not happening, unless it was artificially transplanted somehow, which is also not a thing that really is plausible in the fossil record. There's no reasonable way that a large, high calorie dependent, high vegetative calorie dependent primate is crossing thousands, tens of thousands of miles of tundra to get from the old world to the new world. If Bigfoot is real, if there is a Bigfoot, it would more likely be some kind of ancestral hominid that was related to us, or not hominid, hominid, Homo, and within our genus, or within our order at least, right? But anyway.
Any court of law requires the evidence of proof be beyond a reasonable doubt. Obviously, we've more than achieved that. However, for a discovery of this magnitude, science will not recognize the existence of this species without a specimen. No amount of circumstantial evidence will do. Part of the answer to the question is technology has driven mankind.
So, yeah.
Yeah, darn that science wanting some evidence of a species, right? Not right. Just, I heard something in the woods last night. Give it a name. It's like, that's not how it works, right? Bring some hair, some bone, or something that doesn't turn out to be from a deer or a cow or a bear or something, and they'll give it a name. But when you... Trees and I think, did a big old episode where we're running through the testing that has been done. And time after time, it's a known species. It already has a name.
Kind away from nature, and by extension, driven us further away from the ultimate apex species in nature, which is...
So, yeah, this one's the one that's definitely Todd standing. As a matter of fact, we'll jump to that real quick. Just for a moment, I need to bring something else up. So, see, that's why I have to close this out and then reopen it. So check this out.
Well, everybody wants to make more money these days, so you gotta stay open to some unfamiliar ways. For example, let me tell you, conning people really pays. I'm coming to rip you off. Now you know that my advice is the only way to go. You can trust my credentials just because I told you so. You haven't done a background check, so how you gonna know that I'm coming to rip you off?
And actually, oh,
she's been called.
That's not what we wanted. What I actually wanted was...
That's one thing I wish YouTube would just have a little pause before it goes to the next video. Because when I'm doing the show in the evening, I do that too. I go through my list and it's so fast going to the next one. And I'm right there. I want to hit the button right at the end. And it just rolls right into the next video every time. Like, come on, YouTube. Fix that up for me. I'd appreciate it.
And you'll notice there's a trend when it comes to... what happens when Les brings someone, or when not Les, when Todd brings someone out compared to when he doesn't. I found this video where someone else, another Bigfooter too, like a true believer, talking about, why is he choosing Todd Stanton of all people? This is Mountain Beast Mysteries, so yeah. I don't know if I shouldn't say he's a true believer.
One thing that always comes up in a lot of other videos I watch on YouTube, especially in like the comment section, is why Les Stroud chose Todd Standing to take him out into the woods to look for Bigfoot.
Can you hear it?
It's a little quiet, but I can hear it.
Okay, yeah, he seems really quiet to me too. I got it all the way up though. I don't know.
And we all know that Todd is a very controversial figure in the Bigfoot field. There's, been many claims that he's hoaxed all of his footage and his photographs, and that, he has family members in the film business. And despite being a suspected hoaxer, he does spend a lot of time in the bush, and so he's probably the perfect guy in Canada, to go out with Les Stroud, who's also a very experienced bushman.
I bet there's other people in Canada that are better than the known hoaxer Todd Stanton to take Les Stroud out into the forest, right? Out into the wilderness.
I think it's the other way around. I think he just got so many letters from Todd that he just finally said, fine, I'll come out and hang out with you. I don't see him looking for Todd. I think it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Claimed evidence that Todd Standing has is very interesting, whether it be real or fake. And, if I was Les Stroud, I'd be very curious to know whether it's real or not. At this point, I just disregard all the video and photo evidence that Todd's come up with. But I do know that he's out in the bush all the time looking for these creatures. So if anybody's gonna find Sasquatch, it's probably gonna be Todd Standing. If he hasn't already, if the video...
Because he's so good at hoaxing that there's Sasquatch out there that you acknowledge is fake, but he's gonna be the one to find it, right? And how will we know when it's real?
It might be Les, because Les, I think, is a little more reputable, and he's got a bunch of Bigfoot videos he's done himself.
He had a whole series called Les Stroud.
Yep.
Survivor Me and Bigfoot, yeah.
The videos and the photos are fake. He spends a lot of time out in the bush, and he is in the perfect area. I'm not saying Todd's photos and videos aren't suspicious, because they are. They're very up close and clear. The one where the Bigfoot blinks, it looks very mechanical to me and not natural. It doesn't look like an organic being, and I'm sure most of you agree with me. From what I know about Todd is that he seems to fail consistently at reproducing his evidence when he takes people out into the bush.
That's what I was saying. He'll go out there by himself and say, "Oh, I got all this footage and all these interactions and stuff." He takes someone else out, and
I shouldn't say evidence. What I should say is he fails to reproduce his sightings of Bigfoot. Because when he's out by himself, it seems he always finds the creature and is able to photograph and video it. When he goes out with other people, it's tree structures, sticks, footprints, that sort of thing. So he hasn't been able to.
You know, Moneymaker, the Bigfoot hunter, right?
Matt Moneymaker,
Yeah, he was out with a whole TV crew with a whole truck full of camera equipment. Everybody's got all the state-of-the-art, the night vision, the things, the drones, everything and stuff. And Moneymaker decides, I'm going to go down this path all by myself without a camera, without a cell phone, without anything, all by himself. And when you know, that's exactly when he ran into Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If only he had a camera, like a whole truck full. That would have been handy, you know? And again, they give people a bad name because why would you have a whole truckload of equipment and go wander off without a camera?
And Moneymaker actually is funny because he called out Todd Standing. He's like, Todd Standing's a hoaxer.
Now, there is one video that he put out where it's in the winter and you see a bunch of trees moving and snow falling off the trees. And it sounds like there's, definitely other people there with him, but who knows who these people are? They're not, I don't know them. Nobody else in the Bigfoot community knows them, so it could be anybody. But people like Jeff Meldrum, John Bindernagel, like he wasn't able to produce anything significant for them that I know of. But despite the chances that...
He just like walked around in the woods and pointed at snapped branches and trees and stuff like that. It's like, yep, there's evidence of the Bigfoot.
Todd takes everybody to the same place where there's some trees that, have fallen on. And again, Todd could have done that. Who knows? Or it could have just been
snow.
The trees just fell like that. Yeah.
Snow does that.
But he always goes...
do that.
Yeah, he doesn't like have a lot of spots or anything. He takes everybody to that same spot, and then he goes to that other same spot where he puts the apples on that fallen tree, and then he brings them back the next day, and they're gone. And it's like amazing. You leave apples out in the forest, and they're gone, right?
Right.
Like, surprise.
Porcupines. It's always porcupines. You always see the videos of the baby Bigfoots that are porcupines. I did a whole series on it. Like, oh, it's a baby Bigfoot, and it's like half of them were porcupines.
These videos are faked. I still think Todd is on the right track, and he's in the right area, and he's out there a lot. So the chances of him actually finding Sasquatch and filming a real Sasquatch are pretty high. I know I'm probably going to take a lot of flack for kind of defending Todd and defending Les Stroud's decision to go out with him, but I know for a fact the Nordegg area is the best location. And I think...
How do you know for a fact that it's the best location to locate an animal that you can't prove exists at all? Dude, come on.
Ohio is one of the top ranked places,
It is.
Where Trees lives down there. That's the hot spot. It's number 4 or 5 out of the 50 states.
It's a hot spot because Trees lives down there, Dave. Mm-hmm.
People should be out there looking. The good thing about Nordegg is that it is very remote. The area north of Nordegg, there's a lot of untouched forest. It's not like a popular tourist spot. A lot of people who are out on vacation tend to go to Jasper or Banff, and Nordegg is just in between. It's ignored. Based on what I witnessed during my filming of Wildman, the footprints we found, the handprints on the car windows, we've heard branches breaking close to our camp at night, which was very unsettling.
And see, that's the kind of evidence I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. Let's explore that. But like, I can feel like that if someone reports that to me, I can unpack it. But what Todd Standing is presenting is just, I don't know.
Well, if the branches are breaking or anything else is happening, look around for Todd, because he's probably not there. He probably had to go to his truck or some excuse to wander off for a minute. And then everybody goes, "What was that?" And then he comes back and they all go, "Well, we just heard something." He says, "See, I told you."
Right.
He doesn't even try hard. You know, it's just, yeah, he's just so bad. It in everything he does. It's just so, and Les too, he did the same thing. We're setting up camp. And then at the last minute, Todd says, "You know what? I'm going to sleep in my truck." Sure. Because your truck is parked somewhere down the road. Right. Yeah. And then I think in the morning that the apples were gone or something like, yeah, because he wanted to make sure the apples were gone. So Les could get good footage of it. Yeah, he's so terrible. And it's like, yeah, that's why I say it's got to be that he contacted Les so many times. And he said, like Hovind does, "Hey, look, I'll feed you. I've got all the equipment." You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And he just said, "Yeah, why not?" You know? Yeah.
Sure, why not? Let's take a trip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on, because I just accidentally closed what I was trying to use. But yeah, have you ever had a Bigfoot experience? Like, what got you into Bigfoot?
Precepts.
Yeah, because you use that as a counter argument.
Yeah, it kind of grew. Well, I've always been interested in all kind of stuff ever since I was a kid. You know, all kind of ancient aliens, Nostradamus, ghost stories, anything like that. It was always interesting to me. And then, yeah, it was pre-supping because, you know, I was kind of ornery like back in the day on the AOL chat rooms and the Yahoo chat rooms. That was back when there was no moderation, right? So I would just throw fire back. Prove Bigfoot didn't do it when I heard God did it. Well, the more I said Bigfoot, the more it kind of grew. And then I started getting shirts and people start buying me Bigfoot statues. And then I just kind of got, I from that, I started exploring the cryptids more. So, yeah, religion took me to cryptids.
So recently, this channel did kind of a breakdown of a lot of the stuff that exposes Todd Standing. And I figured that there's this little playlist here that they put together, so we could probably get some answers out of this.
And mind you, this was over a long period of time. I'm almost 60 years old, so you know this has been something that's grown over many decades. It's not something that just happened just like that.
Yep. All right. So let me see. I lost my place again. Damn it. I'm like all over the place. Here we go.
Me in the field, and I will show you a Sasquatch.
Who is Todd Standing? Todd Standing is a director well known for his self-proclaimed discovery of Bigfoot. The Todd Standing Bigfoot footage, or Todd Standing Bigfootage, is a series of videos of strange creatures claimed to be Sasquatches taken by controversial Bigfoot researcher and suspected hoaxer.
They are strange creatures.
Todd Standing, despite his footage being considered dubious by many due to the human face ratios shown in it, and one video showing an alleged Sasquatch almost tripping up while running up a steep hill. The most controversial of his footage are the Blinky Bigfoot and Muppet Bigfoot, shown in his documentary Discovering Bigfoot.
I had the piece of Sasquatch footage that the whole world would rave about.
Here's about the story about the one that fell in the river.
Two Sasquatch came out in the open, perfect cloud cover day. I zoomed in on them. I got the piece of footage that would have convinced the whole world.
Some may ask, why would he bother faking? What's in it for him? I believe Todd answers that question best. When asked, is looking for Bigfoot the only job you have?
Is this your full-time thing?
It is past 2 years, yeah. I have people who make donations, tons of supporters. I do expeditions, and then my YouTube channel makes money.
That does explain why, but what happened to that undisputable footage?
I got the piece of footage that would have convinced the whole world. 100%.
It would have convinced the whole world, Dave.
I'm waiting. Where's it at?
They were moving. They were making this one Sasquatch was making a gesture to me, and they were kind of aggressive, and they were trying to get me to turn around because there was a bear hunting me. And when I didn't turn around and I kept moving forward filming them, the bear came charging out of the woods, and I was walking through a river and hit that river like a freaking freight train. What did I do? Spun around to pull my gun out, fell in the water, dropped my camera, And that piece of footage would have ended this conversation. I wouldn't be here with you right now if I had that piece of footage.
Obviously, it's like it's the one that got away. You know, that fish that was this big.
Well, luckily it's guarded in a church in Ethiopia that you aren't allowed to go in there and see it. But it's there. Don't worry.
It's there, yeah. Trust us. Just trust me, bro.
Does this mean Todd doesn't have any evidence?
I have every piece of evidence. I have DNA, I have forensic evidence.
Wait a minute. I think I am confused.
No, I'm calling him on the DNA. He doesn't have any DNA.
Yeah,
that's been completely refuted. Any samples that have been submitted to any legitimate laboratories have come back as either known species or it was contaminated and it couldn't be tested right because it wasn't collected right.
Despite what Melba Ketchum might tell you.
No DNA. No dinosaur DNA either. Nope.
Well, unless you're talking about birds.
Unless some Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's right.
Yeah. Nevertheless, Todd did file a civil suit against the Fish and Game Commission in several regions.
The existence of Bigfoot is at the center of a lawsuit launched against the provincial government. A self-described Sasquatch tracker claims the mythical creature is real.
Standing's claim was thrown out of court. Justice Kenneth Ball found Standing had no reasonable cause to sue and that he had no legal standing to bring such a claim.
So what is a successful outcome for you in this lawsuit?
When I win, I will have proven that Sasquatch is real.
Sorry, Todd, not going to happen in Canada. But what about that California court case? It seems, a petition filed by Bigfoot researcher Claudia Ackley in California court on behalf of Todd Standing was dismissed March 15th. The petition, scheduled to be heard March 9th.
Yeah, because there's no evidence, right? Bring the evidence and then we'll unpack it.
What was the lawsuit about? It's like a slander thing or something?
Just that they're not offering protection to the species.
Okay.
Bernardino County's Superior Court was dismissed at Ackley's request on the advice of her lawyers. And I am sure that was great advice considering it's impossible to win a court case unless you have evidence to support your claims.
No video is ever going to be evidence, ever.
How about if you attempt to give us that type of evidence and see if it's good enough?
I had the piece of Sasquatch footage that the whole world would rave about.
Can't you go back and get another video? After all, you are the Bigfoot guru.
I have every piece of evidence. I have DNA, I have forensic evidence.
I really don't know what to think all these years of supposed evidence.
What DNA and forensic evidence, bro?
But still no
proof. If he
had
a bag of dookie, it would have been tested. It would be groundbreaking, world-shattering, all over every headline if they found some Bigfoot DNA in some dookie. No, but one of my favorite videos is a park ranger that had over 30 years experience, said he stepped in every kind of dookie there was in the woods, but no Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So, there's somebody that knows. They've stepped in it all, and yep. No,
Maya
no
suggests your mind that your mind is clearly closed. So obviously.
No, I talk about it all the time when I stream that I would love for magic to be real. I would love for them to find a Bigfoot. I would love for them to find a Loch Ness Monster. I think the world would be a fascinating place if all this magical things happened, or I don't know what would be the word. It would be neat,
cool,
if purple unicorns are frolicking in my yard or whatever. I'm not closed-minded to the idea that these things would be really neat. But again, though, who's going to find it? Todd? He's too busy running around in his ghillie suit to actually find anything.
Right. If jumping up out of the snow, scaring the Bigfoot away.
Look at me.
There is, however, strange activity from Standing like this particular incident.
So we walked over to Todd's truck as he was getting ready, and I don't know if he wasn't expecting us to walk over that fast or what, but as I approached, I saw the blonde girl he was with in the back seat holding like a gorilla glove, like the kind you'd get at a Halloween store or something. Yo, I gotta know though, can I ask you something? Sure. What was the deal with the Sasquatch glove?
Oh, just my brother-in-law got it as a joke. He was just fucking with me.
What was up with that Sasquatch glove in the back seat?
I don't know. I'm gonna definitely grill him on that one. So
Yeah.
very
I
suspicious.
didn't spell Todd's name right, but
Now that you know who Todd Standing is, what do you think of his claims? Does he honestly have all the proof and choosing to wait before he allows the world to know? Is it all the conspiracy trying to cover up Bigfoot altogether? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think.
leave a comment
Come
down
out with
below
me in the
here.
field
too.
and I will show you a Sasquatch.
Hey,
You have never had anybody go out in the field with you and you showed him a Sasquatch, Todd. Ever.
And well, he has a point too. And like you said earlier, Bree, he discovered AI, and it's going to be really hard to have, good video evidence. If you're in the woods all the time, you're going to find a body or some hair or some dookie or some bones or something. And that would be the good solid evidence, because even if you had what looked like good video, somebody's probably just going to pick it apart and say, yeah, after all these years, he just got some better editing software, right? So, yeah, but take some evidence bags out there with you. Pick up the stuff properly with tweezers and gloves and everything. And, yeah, bring the samples back. That's what you should be doing. And even if it isn't a Bigfoot, maybe you could discover some new species of whatever out there. And, it would still be great for science. You'd still make a name for yourself and everything, and do something legitimate. You got the money, the backing, the equipment, and yeah, he spends it all on neat little vehicles and taking pictures of himself.
Yeah, videos of him running around the creek beds and climbing rocks. I like this channel. This guy's that put it together. This is Yankees Outdoor Adventures. And he put together this playlist. It's pretty short altogether, but this is the longest one. He's going to go over like the pictures and stuff, and kind of he has, I don't know where he got it from, but there's a voiceover thing that explaining aspects of the costumes that Todd Standing used. So let's watch.
Welcome to the channel, Yankees Outdoor Adventures. I'm going to jump right into this. I got a little bit of backlash from a video that I uploaded, How to Spot a Bigfoot Liar. Had to do with Todd Standing and his credibility as well as his supposed evidence. However, the backlash kind of pointed out to me that they really didn't care about an individual's credibility. They cared about the science. So in this video, I'm bringing you the science. This is what you wanted to hear, and this is what you get. Sorry if
I like his hat. It reminds me of my hat.
I like him already.
Yeah.
I break anybody's bubble. This doesn't mean Bigfoot doesn't exist. It just means that you got to be careful who you trust, because sometimes people have hidden intentions behind why they do what they do. You want to know more about that and you haven't seen the video yet, check it out. It's in the slide card at the top of the screen.
A critical examination of the Todd Standing Sylvanic video subjects.
And discovering Bigfoot is what it's called now. It used to be called Sylvanic Sasquatch, I think it was. For the longest time, that was the name of his channel, Sylvanic Sasquatch. But it's just discovering Bigfoot now, which is basically just a ripoff of Finding Bigfoot.
Every time I see that one, I think of Beauty and the Beast.
No ownership to the videos and photographs presented within are made by the authors. All visual media purported to depict Sasquatch creatures remain the sole property of Todd Standing and the Sylvanic projects. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976.
And we're under this order, too, so thank you for that, Yankee. Appreciate you.
Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. This document exists to articulate the features that the authors have observed in the videos and still imagery associated with Mr. Todd Standing's purported Bigfoot videos numbered 4 and 5. The intention is to share the reason.
Look at those dead eyes on that thing.
Yeah, it looks like a Goodwill find of some old worn out doll animal, some toy or something, I don't know, something about it just looks really, really cheesy or I don't know what it is. Well, the whole thing, that's what it is. It's just the whole thing.
The reasons why we have independently concluded that Mr. Standing's videos show human contrivances and not living creatures. As a general rule, purported Sasquatch photography and video tends to be blurry and indistinct. Often the only reason it is labeled as possibly Sasquatch in origin is because it is too indistinct to definitively identify as human or not. In most of these cases,
like a doll's eyes. Yeah, you gotta say it like the guy from Jaws. How's he say it? Like a doll's eyes.
Got them dead eyes roll back in her head like a doll.
It is difficult to make a definitive determination regarding the authenticity of the subject matter because there isn't enough information in the imagery. The Standing videos are something else. Even with access only to the low-resolution version so far shared publicly by Mr. Standing, the Sylvanic, Standing videos and pictures are of such strict clarity and quality that it is possible to observe diagnostically important details and draw solid conclusions.
Yeah, the clarity of these are kind of his the weakness of them. They're too clear that you can see that it's prosthetics and stuff.
Without the usual mud of pixelation or lack of focus. That said, it does not appear that the full, unedited videos have yet been made available to the public. So in this document we are working with what we have. There are some still images obtained from Todd Standing's websites for the purposes of analysis that do not appear to correspond to any of the numerous video clips so far released, but we have grouped them all here for analysis under the subjects of videos 4 and 5. Mr. Standing may wish to clarify which are video still and which are still photographs. For the sake of this document, we are treating them as video evidence for objective analysis. If Mr. Standing wishes to...
The AI voice is struggling with some of the script words.
to provide higher resolution material or original files to us or for independent experts to evaluate for the sake of scientific verification, we would be thrilled. Examination of the eyes and eyelids. Compare the eyes of video 4 subject with those of apes, humans and a toy chimpanzee. The anatomy of the video 4 subject's eyelids is exceedingly simple and uniform, having more in common with a toy than a living animal.
Agreed, yeah. Dead doll eyes. A doll's eyes. Just like you said.
Suggestive of a sculpture rather than real anatomy. The eyes of the video 4 subject never move. In all the still images and video they seem to stare blankly in the same straight-ahead direction. They do not dart, shift focus, or change the direction of gaze in reaction to their environment.
Direction, yeah, that's what I was talking about with it, struggling with some of these words. These better directions.
The subject's attention or any other stimulus. They stare dully ahead, even as the animal moves.
John Lovell, do not kiss the Sasquatch. That's not why Todd brought you out to the woods.
In animals with mobile eyeballs, a turn of the head is predicted by a change in eye direction, leading the turn or shift. If the animal is focused on something, then the eyes will remain focused on that subject while the head or body moves. But in the case of the video 4 subject, the eye position is locked to the head position, an unnatural state that does not correlate with genuine animal behavior but matches what would be expected to be seen in eyes glued permanently into position.
I love you, chimpanzee. You're so cute. Chimpanzees have such cute eyes. Until they're eating your face, but...
Position on a prop. The pupils of the video 4 subject do not appear to dilate or contract at any point in the video or any of the still images, even when shadows fall across them. But is consistent with glass eyes used in taxidermy and practical creature effects. The eyelids of the video 4 subject never blink or squint. In fact, they never demonstrate any flicker of movement or life at all. If the subject were a real animal, some reaction or change would be expected. The eyes themselves look
those look like goat eyes.
Very much like commercially available taxidermy eyes and do not show any organic structures such as veining or color variation. The reflection is dull and lifeless, like those of the toy rather than those of living apes or human. The wink featured in video 5 offers some of the most conclusive evidence that the video does not show a real...
John loves the dead eyes. That's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, it's like he came across, somebody had like a doll collection or something and said, this one thing is just so old and ratty and ugly and I just don't want it anymore. And he said that would be perfect for a Bigfoot video. That's
right.
Yeah.
The reason for this involves the mechanics of the wink, which do not correspond to those of living primates. When a human or non-human ape blinks, both lower and upper eyelids shift to varying degrees to effect a brief covering of the eyeball. The brow is usually only involved in a blink when a frown occurs or if the subject is squinting, which uses different muscles that in turn change the expression of the face, with tension occurring beyond the brow region, including on the cheek, bridge of the nose and forehead. Furrowing the brow does not result in an occlusion.
She's got me like raising and lowering my eyebrows too.
Everybody do eyeball. It. Raise your eye.
Everybody get on board. Oh, you can't see my eyebrows.
That I can do. I can do that.
In video 5, the wink observed is unusual and seemingly in conflict with the underlying muscular anatomy of apes and humans. The remainder of the face is completely rigid. No tension is observable in the cheek, forehead, bridge of the nose or lower eyelid.
Maybe he got Botox.
The remainder of the face is utterly and unnaturally passive, as if there were no muscle connection between these features. Even if it were possible for a human or non-human ape's orbit to collapse under some hitherto undescribed muscle and bone articulation, there should be some contraction visible in the forehead, cheek or bridge of the nose. In video 5 there is nothing, only an unnatural crushing of the brow to partially cover the eyeball. While not something that can be replicated on the human or ape face, the strange brow blink action would be what might be expected to be seen if the subject were a prop and
Hey, let's stop it right there so we don't give you information overload. We'll call that part 1.
We want information overload. That's what we're here for, sir.
The eye and the wink. But we still have to cover the skin, the hair, the mouth in general, including the lips. So
what that mouth do, Sasquatch?
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. That way you don't miss the future uploads and the further analysis of the...
You gotta sign up for Sasquatch's OnlyFans for that.
Hi, welcome to the channel, Yankees Outdoor Adventures. Today we're doing part 2 of the critical analysis of the Todd Standing Big Fake footage. A special thanks to Dragon Tech for helping me with this video, and let's jump right into it.
Examination of the skin and hair. Compare the skin surface of video 4 subject with the flocking of an animal mask. The entire face surface of video 4 subject is covered in a kind of soft fuzz, even covering the eyelids. This covering does not match anything seen on humans or any of the higher
it's like it's covered with felt.
Primates, but does happen to look exactly like the flocking used in toys and physical makeup effects as a proxy for short furred surface. The transition from short, flocked facial fluff to thick, woolly hair on the circumference of the face is remarkably abrupt. The edge looks like that of which is seen when flocking.
I'm not sure. I don't know if he made the. I don't think that Yankee made these in Trippy Fan. I think that he just found them, but I couldn't find them anywhere, so I was going to let Yankee present them to us.
And gives way to a glued-on pelt. There is also what looks just like glue residue in places such as the periphery of the lips and chin. This is consistent with what would be seen when practical makeup.
She does look like her face is covered with felt, though, doesn't she?
Effect techniques are employed.
It's a creepy old toy. That's what it is.
Effects technicians are usually able to minimize.
That's the Slim Jim guy. That's the Slim Jim messing with Sasquatch guy. He's my favorite.
Or eliminate visible edges, but often they are visible in less accomplished work.
I like how it shows Todd as like less accomplished work.
Compare the hair growth pattern of the video 4 and 5 subjects. It is curious that the hairlines of the subjects in video 4 and 5 are inconsistent. Even allowing for natural variation between individuals, it would be expected that these two are members of the same species, that there would be some commonality. Instead of video 4 subject has a thick woolly hairline beginning at the circumference of the face, and most notably at the top of the forehead like a human's, whereas video 5 subject has more fur-like hairline.
It's like a Wolfman kind of application.
That begins at the ridge of the nose and runs across the brows. It even has hair growing onto the cheeks. The direction of growth on the head runs from front to back on the video 5 subject, but on the video 4 subject, it appears to fall forwards to the hood of the face. Why such dispersity in texture, length, and growth pattern? Surely, a more likely explanation of this level of variation within the species is that of a difference in the construction of the two props. Is the video 5 subject being a more sophisticated second attempt? Compare the skin surface of the video 5 subject with those of a human's, apes, and hand-laid hair work used in physical special effects. The hair of video 5 subject appears hand-laid across the cheeks, and messy glue work is evident on the upper lip.
Yeah, I see, like, sort of, looks like it might be patches of glue right there. And down through here.
Lip and top of the cheeks. Shine is visible on the hair and is also consistent with what would be expected from glue that has been smeared on top of the hair inadvertently.
John Level, do you have a woolly hairline? You cannot lie to us. Tell us the truth. Is your hairline woolly? It's one of those Soviet realism era toys. Ivan makes the teddy bear, but people, person like.
During the gluing process. The same technique and glue residue is visible in both.
Okay, let's wrap up part 2 right there. Be sure to subscribe for part 3. We're going to be covering the... Hi, welcome to the channel, Yankees Outdoor Adventures. This is part 3 in our critical examination of the fraud standing big fake footage.
Fraud standing big fake footage. Yeah, I like Yankee. He's cool. Yankee Outdoor Adventure. Go subscribe. I'm subscribed. Look at that.
Today we're covering the nose and the mouth. Well, let's jump right into it.
What's that mouth do?
Examination of the lips.
I would have named this episode that, but, you know, to each their own.
Lips and mouth. Compare the skin surface of the lips of the video 4 subject with those of a human and the lips of a foam latex mask. The lips are the only surface on the face of the video 4 subject that are not in some way covered in fuzz. They appear dry and match the look of painted foam latex. There is a hard edge running along the perimeter of the lips and down from the corners of the mouth towards the chin, suggestive of the edge of a pattern being cut or gluing edge. Examination of the nasal anatomy. Compare the nasal anatomy of video 4 subject with that of apes and humans. The nasal septum of the video 4 subject has an unnatural looking line where it joins the surface of the face.
It's a seam in the FX.
This is suspicious looking feature is not present in non-human ape species or humans. In each case, the nasal septum blends smoothly with the surface of the face. The presence of line and separation here is suggestive of a seam, an artifact of its artificial construction and not naturally occurring feature of anatomy. Compare the bridge of the nose of the video 5 subject with those of apes and humans. The wrinkling of the bridge of the nose of the subject in video 5 looks unnatural. It lacks any natural variations such as can be seen in real wrinkles on the skin, regardless of the species. The wrinkling of video 5 subject appears to be a simplistic sculpt.
Very uniform. Yeah, because they put prosthetic over Todd Standing's nose and it's just like latex.
It does not correspond to any expression such as furrowing of the brow and not an effective age as the rest of the face appears devoid of wrinkles.
You're supposed to be making the faces, Dave. Come on.
I keep thinking, this is compared to that video you showed earlier where it kind of morphed,
Yeah.
That it's more like a werewolf, model that they were putting the hair slowly on and on and on until it just filled in enough and covered up the face or the mask, whatever they were putting.
Yeah. like it's like he's wearing a prosthetic up to here, and then there's like hair glued onto his face here and his eyebrow level to blend it with the the hood he's wearing.
Yeah, the whole cheek and nose thing, I think, is really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It stands out that it's really done poorly.
It looks like
the rest of it
from like the
the rest of it kind of looks okay. You know, I think they went too much. You know, I think that's what they were trying. And again, it doesn't match the other one in any way. That pretty much doesn't have any hair on its face.
Yeah, like they wouldn't be the same species, right? Like, yeah.
It is hard to imagine what function this puckered area of skin would serve on the face when the rest of the complexion is so smooth. It seems problematic to justify from the anatomical perspective and is more readily explained as a simple...
I believe he meant anatomical there. Not atomical.
Sculptural choice, like a crude approximation of the wrinkles above the nose seen in some apes.
I do want to stop the video right there. Call that the conclusion of the examination of the subjects in the videos. But we're really not done examining things yet, because there were a lot of anomalies found in the video itself. So I'm going to go ahead and put together all this evidence and bring it in another episode we'll call part 4. I really want to encourage you.
A California woman who claims to have seen Bigfoot says
As I take people out into the wilderness and I show them Sasquatch. I had the piece of Sasquatch footage that the whole world would rave about. Zoomed in on them, I got the piece of footage that would have convinced the whole world. They were trying to get me to turn around because there was a bear hunting me. The bear came charging out of the woods and I was walking through a river. What did I do? Spun around to pull my gun out, fell in the water, dropped my camera.
Yeah, of course you did.
I'm the man who takes people out into the field.
Is this your full?
Well, everybody wants to make more money these days, so you gotta stay open to some unfamiliar ways. For example, let me tell you, conning people really pays. I'm coming to rip you off. Now you know that my advice is the only way to go. You can trust my credentials just because I told you so. You haven't done a background check, so how you gonna know that I'm coming to rip you off?
So you'll remember that earlier in the video I pointed out that Todd had this woman in some of his recent videos. This woman right here. See her in the thumbnails and stuff. And I just wanted to run this by you and see what you thought about it. So, I mean, this is just my little pet theory. Like I said, I was gonna come with at the end of the show. I think we're about wrapping up here. I've got much more of Todd to show, but.
But if everybody's noticed the repetition of, it's just that those two silly photos with what did he say, 20 years hanging out in the forest or whatever, and that's the only footage he's got is those. While the rest of it's in the river somewhere.
Right. And this is my theory that this woman is the Sasquatch. Based on. I couldn't find a good picture if it was still of this to put next to her, but the structure of her nose and her mouth in relation to the position of her eyes makes me think that is this the same woman? Is this the same person? But a lot of people don't seem to think that there's any person behind this one at all, so I don't know. Like, I do agree that those eyes are not real. Like, if there's a person here, they're wearing like fake eyes over their real eyes. But anyway, excuse me, I'm yawning.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything real myself. It looks just too fake. And the other one just looks like whether it was Todd or a latex
I'm pretty confident it was
thing.
Todd.
Yeah, I think they were following like a werewolf makeup tutorial or something like that is what it seems like. And yeah, and why they didn't make it, I mean, it doesn't look like that, and it doesn't look like, you know, what people usually depict Bigfoot as either. You know, he came up with his two unique, totally his own creatures, it seems.
Right.
And they don't even, I looking at it, I wouldn't think these were any of the Bigfoots that anybody claims. I would think more of a, you know, a large ape style face, not, like I say, it looks like Beauty and the Beast almost, right?
Right.
It's too human. Much. It's too human. It's not Bigfoot enough, you know?
Well, before we wrap up, I do want to say, let's check in and see what Todd's up to in his most recent exploits. So let's check in with him. See what's going on. This is his most recent video. This is from Discovering Bigfoot. First Bigfoot sighting of 2025, released 12 days ago. So he's gone 6 months with no Bigfoot sightings. Interesting.
He cut his hair.
Because it's no small deal. So Ash, you saw something yesterday after we heard that. We definitively
That's the girl. Yeah. And she could be our Sasquatch, our other Sasquatch. That was my pet theory. Just certain facial features that she has, like her lips and stuff. I wonder if we could do the same transition picture with her, like they do with Todd to Jane.
We heard a Sasquatch out here. And then you did see something? What did you see?
Just as if something was. So we were watching. Todd was in front of me, and when I looked to the left as if we were walking, it's like it was alongside us, a couple hundred yards. I don't know my yards very well. And
about 100 yards.
Yeah, and it was like he was mimicking Todd.
When you sign up with my Patreon account on Patreon under Discovering Bigfoot,
I gotta hustle. I mean, I get it. You want to help me out? I got a Patreon. You can go a channel member too. If you just want to give a one-time donation, I got a Buy Me Coffee link that you can click on. Again, like I said before, if you want something for your support, you can get a T-shirt like the kick-ass one that Dave's wearing right now. There's also some kick-ass tank tops. If you watch tomorrow, I might be wearing mine. I don't know if I'm going to wear it again or not. I just got to do laundry. There's a big basket of laundry back there I got to get to at some point.
Bigfoot or Todd Standing, you will be given collections of photographs. The Jane collection, like it's never been seen before.
Did you read that? Todd's experiences are like an M. Night Shyamalan Hollywood blockbuster. That's how I feel. Whoever quoted this, they didn't put their name underneath it. It's like, you can quote me, just don't put my name on it.
You will be given collections of photographs. The Jane collection, like it's never been seen before. The Jake collection, videos, chronicles, and most importantly, in June, to all my Patreon followers, I'll be releasing Discovering Bigfoot.
Oh, these ones are getting citations, though. Because I saw Art Bell was quoted there for a moment.
Yeah, and I'd want to point out, she said that her and Todd were walking together, and there was a Bigfoot over there. So between the two of them, neither one of them had a camera, right?
That's how it sounds.
Again, they got all this equipment. He's got a trailer full of camera equipment. All this stuff's been donated, all the money. And once again, they're wandering around in the woods without a camera, right? Yeah.
Of course, that's what you do when you're a Bigfoot hunter, right?
Yeah, I left it in the truck. I've only been doing this 20 years. And Todd, here's another tip. Neck strap for very expensive cameras so they don't fall in the water.
Right.
So you for next time.
That sounds like a good idea. Great idea. I think this is the image. This is the angle of her nose, of this one's nose that I saw that was like, hey, I think that that's this lady. Because, yeah, look at the angle on that nose and then look at, because I couldn't, oh, not that. Look at, stop being weird. There we go. And then look at that. I don't know. Just food.
I do see it in the mouth, you know, with the. I do see what you're seeing with the mouth there. I do.
With the nose, it was that. It was that specific still right here.
But with the eyes, I would say maybe it's a mask, and it either has eyes or she wasn't actually wearing it. It was just, you know,
molded
put on put on a stump or something.
Bigfoot Part 2. So much amazing stuff every month exclusively to my Patreon followers. So get involved. This is a change in Bigfoot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very, very exciting thing. We're going to be doing boots on the ground investigation. So much to come.
I want to come on your boots on the ground. Todd, bring me with you. I'm going to come up there. He's in Canada, right? Yeah, I'm going to come up there and help. Save me a bunk.
Stay tuned for more announcements. Get involved. Go to Todd Standing or Discovering Bigfoot on Patreon.
It was like he was mimicking Todd.
Right.
And last year, I feel that this Sasquatch is... They're mimicking, I don't know what it is, but it's like they want to copy what Todd is doing, or they're trying to see if Todd can notice how close they're actually getting.
It was like the Bill thing, wasn't it? It was like Bill's footage. That's
mystery footage. Yeah. Most of their videos are like this. It's just him talking to the camera by himself, or him with one of his team.
Hoaxed. It's obviously a large 9-foot-tall Sasquatch moving faster than the fastest man on the planet. So that's really good evidence.
It's
but
obviously a 9-foot-tall Sasquatch.
I want the next piece of Patterson footage filmed in HD, and I can do it, and that's what I want. And I'm communicating that to Sasquatch. I'm communicating that. I'm working that out with them. I'm asking them for permission. I want that because they gave the footage to me before. They gave the Patterson footage. And I'd actually like to have...
She kind of looks like Emma Vigeland, too, though.
Survivor Man and Jeff Meldrum and a couple other amazing men who've worked so hard for this discovery. I'd like to film it, and I'd like to get them out immediately to get boots on the ground and substantiate this incredible piece of footage that's just...
Is that a smirk?
It's been over
Did she
50
smirk?
years. Come on, 60, I think, with the Patterson footage.
Hey, Kip, it's funny that you ask, because, I have Bob Larson scheduled for Charlatan's Web next Friday at the same 5 o'clock time slot. I hadn't invited anybody on to be my co-host yet. If you're interested, let me know. I'd love to have you on. We can tackle Bob together.
Her attitude she seems disinterested. And then at one point, right before she smirks there.
Worked so hard for this discovery. I'd like to film it, and I'd like to get them out immediately to get boots on the ground and substantiate this incredible piece of footage that's just...
And then she kind of looks away like...
It's been over 50 years. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We worked so hard on this, and she's thinking we didn't do nothing.
There's the side eye.
She's not very convincing at all. No.
And I just love that footage, and I love the whole storyline behind it and everything that happened. And we are due for the next one, and I want...
Hey Ben, how's the boy? Ben's puppy. He's 5 months old, so he's doing all right. But he got diagnosed with parvo, and he's been sick. We're really hopeful he's going to pull through. He's on all the medications and stuff, but Henry is feeling pretty down and out. So yeah.
And I want you all to know, because I get a lot of complaints. How come there's no recording, blah blah blah. But I haven't been carrying a camera. Like I don't.
Just carry a freaking camera. Can you imagine? Like I'm an expert Bigfoot tracker, but not carrying a camera with you. It's like I'm the foremost expert Bigfoot tracker in the world. It's like, but I keep forgetting my camera for some reason. Sorry.
Like he should have the camera on his hat and everything, and so should she. You know, the GoPros and yeah.
And he said like, oh, I want to get the next Patterson Gimlin footage on film or whatever on HD. It's like, well, you're gonna have to carry a camera if you want to do that, Todd. He's trying to bankroll those new costumes, the more convincing ones.
And it's always the way, isn't it? I mean, time after time. Oh, I dropped it in the water. I didn't have a camera with me, and it's like, you do this basically for a living. This is what you're doing, and you can't even do that right. It's not an amateur, right? This is somebody. And how did he go off? I'm so experienced in the woods. I'm like one with the woods from the Indian elders or the native elders and everything.
Yeah.
The Cree elders. Thank you. And then he totally doesn't know that there's a bear coming up behind him. I mean, isn't that like the mojo you're supposed to learn, Just wait a minute, I smell a bear. Aren't you supposed to be all in tune with nature? No, not at all.
Bigfoots that were 100 yards across the meadow were able to sense the bear, but not him. Where's your Cree mojo, bro?
Totally out the window, yeah. And, of course, we come across this a lot. There's always an excuse, or they're tracking something. It's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. And as soon as they think they get close enough, then all of a sudden they turn and run, and the camera goes all Blair Witch and everything on you.
Obviously, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about enough, as much of Todd standing as I can stand.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, this stream will redirect you to that when it's over. So that will happen. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to switch that. I'm going to redirect us to Ember because Ember's live right now. But I'm going to, before I do that though, I'm going to drop a link to tomorrow's stream. And why don't you tell them what you got on the docket tomorrow for Saturday Night at the Atheist while I get that pulled up?
We've got Pastor Eli that's going to tell us how to engage with an atheist, because apparently that needs to be known, and he's another bad apologist that doesn't seem to know what an atheist is or what science is or what's in the Bible, and those are the kind of videos we like to look at. Oh,
you roboted a little bit there, Dave.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back now.
Okay. Yeah, Pastor Eli is another terrible apologist, and he's going to tell us how to talk to atheists, and the title is Engaging the Atheist. So it should be a lot of fun. I got pretty irritated listening to it, so we ought to have a lot to talk about.
Well, that's great. Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully I'll be able to stay awake for it.
I'll be up with you on Saturday morning as usual. I've only missed like one show, and that's when I was getting ready to go to the ARC protest.
Yeah, and that was just a couple weeks ago. So, I always appreciate you. You making it in the morning for me, Dave.
My pleasure. I enjoy the show.
I'm going to get this redirected to NanoCon.
It's like you've said yourself. It's it's like Saturday morning cartoons with the cereal bowl and all that. Mm-hmm. The ideal you have, and I kind of feel it too. It's something you miss doing on Saturday mornings. So.
Right? That doesn't happen anymore. I guess there's no more Saturday morning cartoons. I don't know why, but there aren't. Yeah. Okay, well, I think, we would wrap it up right here then.
Thank you, Bree.
Yeah.
And thanks, everybody that joined us. And we'll see you in the morning and in the evening tomorrow as Bree and I do our Saturday thing. So,
yes.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll see you Saturday. All right.